Good evening, everybody. Thank you ever so much for joining me here on the channel. It's TFG March, and we are back with a brand new series of U-Boat. That was such a cool introductory video, and it really just shows the fear that these guys would have experienced deep underwater, depth charges dropping down upon them and blowing them absolutely to sky high. But we're going to try and avoid that for sure. We definitely do not want to be blown sky high today. Welcome to the U-48. This would have been one of the biggest U-boats out there during the Second World War. We have our stern torpedo room, the engine room, the galley or the kitchen, crew quarters, the control room where the periscope would be and the engines and the maps and things like that, the officers' room, also with the radio and the hydrophone, the officers' bunks, and then the bow torpedo room with the 4 torpedo tubes at the front of the boat. So it's quite a large vessel, all things considered. And then obviously on the top we have a massive gun and a light machine gun or a fixed machine gun at the back as well. So the first step, really, as far as I can work out, is to get some supplies for the journey. So let's get that sorted. Lubricant, we're definitely going to need that. Let's take some dynamite with us. Torpedoes. Okay, so, I mean, I don't think we're going to need... This will be our first kind of run. We're just going to jump straight in, select a mission. So let's do that one. Let's get ourselves a course to that area. And what I am going to do is I'm just going to look at the crew here, and we're just going to set some tasks for everyone. So the first thing I want to get rid of is crew using the periscope. I don't want them doing that. The reason for that is if we're underwater and the crew start using the periscope just because that's in there, it could kind of give our position away to any ships that are there. In terms of our officers, so we've got a chief engineer, a chief boatswain, a radio officer, a mechanic, and a watch officer. So I want both of these guys to be watch officers. I want, well, this guy can stay as a radio officer. And I want both of these guys to be chief engineers. And I'll show you why that's important in just a moment. We are going to use medicine as a big thing. We're going to make this 10, I believe, if we can. Yep. And we're going to make the hydrophone 8. So radio is first, hydrophone is after that, because obviously the hydrophone only works underwater, and then medicine is obviously higher than the hydrophone. So if we do have injured individuals on board, the radio officer also doubles up as a medic. In terms of our chief engineer, I definitely want to keep that as is. So we've always got someone manning the engines. The reason for that is so that it saves on fuel. So that's definitely important. If you're out there for long periods of time and you run out of fuel, you're bang in trouble, really. The watch officers, ideally, I'd like map reading to be key for those watch officers. And I'm just going to drop the watch for contacts down just by one for that. In terms of our schedule, here's the way we're going to play it. So we're going to do 6 on, 6 off for the officers. So 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off. And then the opposite to that, so it's going to be 6 off, 6 on, 6 off, 6 on. The radio operator, I'm going to do 4 on, 2 off, 4 on, 2 off. And then these guys will be the same, 6 on, 6 off. And then obviously, because we've started him as 6 on, we're going to start this guy as 6 off. 6 on, 6 off. The shifts, I'll keep those as they are. Squads, I'll assign the sailors myself. I don't, although what I would like to do actually is just assign 2 to the mechanics for the engines and 1 to the radio operator for the radio and hydrophone. I might assign 1 to each of our... Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to do 2 for each. Specializations, don't worry about that. Dive schedule, I am going to leave that as is. I will kind of select the dive schedule, or, you know, I'll dive when I want to dive, basically. Looks like we've got everyone on board. And yeah, looks like that's pretty much it. So obviously, as you can see here, we've already got that crew schedule, selections we've made, that's already taken effect. So we've got 1 on the engine and 1 not on, you know, resting. What I might do is I might ask him to load up some torpedoes. Let's see if we can get him to do that. So we just want him to load those, and I am going to give him some help just so that happens a bit faster. I'm going to speed the time up like so, just so it gets done a bit more quickly. And then what we'll do, guys, is once these are done, I'll bring you guys back so that we can actually get started. Okay, so all the torpedoes are now loaded. We've sent our guy back to his bed, so he doesn't need to do anything else right now. So what we're going to do is basically set sail. We come up here to the telegraph, which is our speed. In the red, we've got obviously reverse. In the black, we've got forward. We've got diesel motors, electric motors, our alarm, and obviously full stop. So what we'll do is we'll select this one, which is forward 3, and off we go. So the plan is to go out to our target area here, and then what we can do is we can then plot a course round that target area. The objective is to travel 2,000 kilometers in that area. So yeah, we'll plot a course once we get there, and then we'll have a look and see what we can do about trying to find a ship. Now, on the first patrol, the very first patrol that you do, it's unlikely that you will find a ship to sink. Obviously, if we do find a ship, we will have a go at it, but I just want to kind of pre-warn everyone that it may be the case that we don't find anything, and if that happens, well, it happens, but obviously it is a good chance to try and it is a good chance just to have a look at the game just to see, you know, the controls and things like that. So what we'll do actually is we'll take a tour around the boat. So currently we have our guy here on the Ouzo, which is basically the static binoculars that would be there, and we've got a hatch here which we can climb down, and we climb down again. Okay, so you can actually walk all the way through the U-boat. See there, you actually duck through the hatch. We've got our kitchen here. What I want to do is just see what we've got in terms of... Okay, so yeah, we've only got those things in our storage room, which is fine. Our chef is lovingly preparing some meals there for our crew. We've got our engine room, got our officer here manning the engines. And we're now at the back of the ship, or boat. Sorry, not a ship, it is a boat. So we're at the back of the boat with the rear torpedo tube. You can mess about with setting everything here. Obviously, pre actually taking a shot at another ship. So you've got an air compressor back here, replacement or salvage replacement parts. Got your electric engines here, so they're for when you dive, because you don't use diesel engines when you're diving. We've got a lovely toilet in there. Excellent. Let's let this guy come through first. So we duck in, back into the control room. We've got an echo sounder, so this will tell us how deep the ocean is beneath us. Gyro compass, so it actually tells you what this is. So the gyro compass is operational and all compasses on board point north. This information decreases our chance of getting lost by 60%. So, you know, if you're out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, for example, and you haven't got someone on your maps, or you haven't got you haven't got the gyro compass on, then you will get lost. And you'll have to kind of turn those things on to find your position again. So it sounds like we are coming to a stop for the sluice gates, and then that alarm or that buzzing noise was just to let you know that we have changed our speed. It doesn't say to what speed or anything like that. It just says we've changed our speed. As it turns out, we've come to a complete stop, and then you just saw the wheel come up there back to our selected speed of forward 3, because the sluice gates have now opened to let us out into the ocean. Flood the tanks. This is obviously so that we can dive. Obviously, the physics of a submarine, in order for it to dive, it needed to take on water, so it needs to open its tanks to allow water in. What we'll do is we'll leave the port, actually, just so it's a bit faster. There we go. And to allow water in, and that obviously makes the boat sink. So that's how that worked. Improved depth keeping. This is for when we are underwater and we need to remain at a steady depth. Obviously,
Es liegt eine lange Reise vor uns. Ich habe ein gutes Buch mitgebracht, um die Zeit zu vertreiben.
I hope you did bring a good book. Obviously, if you're underwater at periscope depth was about 5 meters under the water, so depth keeping basically helps you to stay at that depth, because obviously if you're in the water you are being sort of rocked about and you're coming up and down and all that sort of stuff, so it just helps keep you at a steady depth. So that's the control room. Moving forward, we've got our captain here reading a paper or magazine or something. We've got the journal which you can write in. You can write in the journal, which is really awesome. Plot your adventures and things like that. We've got our radio man here, who's currently listening to any radio. We've got our hydrophone here. This is to be used underwater, and this will help us locate ships under the water by listening out for their propeller sounds. We've got our officers' bunks here. We can play cards. We've got our cabinet with some storage. We've got some rebreathers, some coffee, and obviously our dynamite, which we bought from before we left. We've got our control room. These are our power. So, for example, if I turn that off like that, the lights come off. That's very useful if you've taken damage in a particular area and you need to try and reset things. And then at the front of the ship, we've got our 4 torpedo tubes. Obviously, all with torpedoes in them, ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll sprint back through. If you notice the way we come through the hatch when we're just kind of walking, we just kind of duck through it. Whereas if we sprint through, we actually grab it and swing ourselves through, which I think is really cool animation there. So what we'll do is we'll go back up to the conning tower, as it was known, and let's open that, climb up, and we'll get ourselves back on the Uzo. And that's pretty much the tour of the boat, so I hope everyone enjoyed that. What I will do is I will now skip ahead until we get to our destination, and then we'll see what we can find. Okay, so the radio officer is missing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring him out just to send off a message to BDU, just to say that we've reached our patrol sector. And then what I'm going to do is plot a patrol route. Okay, now you may be wondering why it is I'm doing it like that. So the reason for that is most ships in this area will be doing this. They'll be going in this diagonal motion. So if we go up, across and down, across, up, so on and so forth, we are likely to intercept ships in that path, because they'll be going across us like that. If we were to just go kind of like this, or just in a square, for example, we're going to miss everything in the middle, go straight across, we're going to miss everything here and here. So that's why it's always best to kind of go up and down. So go north-south, basically, is the way to do it. You can go east-west; it will achieve the same outcome. But yeah, it's better to go north-south, in my opinion, especially when we've got sort of Norway up here and England or the United Kingdom here as well. So what we'll do is we'll have a look at our hydrophone. So we'll do a quick hydrophone check just to make sure that all the systems are working correctly. So the first thing we're going to do is stop the boat. And then what we're going to do is click on this blue little button here. This will complete 6 actions automatically on the click of this button. So perform a routine check of the surroundings with the hydrophone that involves the following steps. Air compressors are disabled. The U-boat dives at 50 meters or lower at shallow waters. The most rested radio man goes to the hydrophone station. Radio man is listening for screw sounds, so in other words propellers, for 5 minutes. U-boat goes back to the surface. Air compressors are enabled to replenish lost compressed air in the process. So what we'll do is we'll hit that. You see he's already gone to his hydrophone station, and the boat will begin to sink. So we're only going to dive to 10 meters. I don't think it's very deep here. I do want to get an echo sounder reading. Okay, 37 meters. So it won't, it won't dive to 50 meters because obviously we can't. So what we'll do is we'll wait for the dive to happen, and then we'll take a look at the map, and you can see kind of what it is you'll be looking at. So we're currently at 10 meters. So as you can see, now there's this blue ring that's appeared around the boat. This is the hydrophone range. Obviously, the deeper you go, up to kind of 50 meters, the kind of further the hydrophone range will reach and be able to detect, other boats that might be in the area. So that's something to keep in mind. Obviously, that's why we always do an echo sounder check before we dive, just to make sure we can get to a depth that is realistic enough for the hydrophone to work effectively.
10 meter.
Now, what I am going to do is just get this guy to improve the depth keeping. Obviously, the water is very choppy, or it's moving the boat about, so it's going to be bringing the boat up and down, up and down. That's why I want this guy to be on the depth keeping, so we stay at that 10 meter depth, or as best we can. Now, as I say, first patrol, we're not going to find anything. Plus, something else to mention, we're not actually technically at war yet, we're not going to see anything on the hydrophone. So we'll skip forward all the way until we're back at the depth we need, till we're back at the surface, and we're just going to carry on. He's gone back to bed, he's gone back to the engines, and we're just going to get started again. So what we'll do is we'll skip ahead until we get our first message. I do want to put on the diesel compressor. There we go, there's our first message. Okay, so hostile actions on the part of the Polish allies, England and France, are not to be expected. Hostile actions against them are prohibited until further notice. So, in short, Germany has started the war with Poland, and obviously these are based on kind of real world events. So in the Second World War, Germany started their invasion of Poland, and that's what kicked off the Second World War. So what we'll do is we'll carry on as we are, and then we'll get another message shortly to say we are now at war with the United Kingdom.
Melde mich zum Dienst.
Herr Kommandant,
Here we are.
dringende Nachricht von OKM. Wir befinden uns mit England.
So, to all submarines, English ships are to be considered hostile with immediate effect. At present, all first wave submarines, that we are one of them, are instructed to attack freighters in accordance with the terms of the prize rules. As long as the prize rules are in force, cargo ships flying the English flag may be attacked without warning. So, the prize rules effectively were, so say for example we saw an English ship, or a ship flying English flags or British flags, we could attack that ship without warning. I'm just going to stop the boat here.
Alle Maschinen stopp!
Yeah, so we could just attack that ship without warning. We don't have to kind of, be pally with it or anything. We can just dive, line up our shot, take the shot, and be done with it. If, for example, it was a Norwegian vessel, for example, we are not at war with Norway. So therefore, we would have to, first of all, board the Norwegian boat to determine why it's there and what it's doing. And if it was trading with allied ports, for example, so like, I don't know, the Port of London, for example, then it is then fair game. And prize rules apply, and we are then allowed to sink it. If it was trading with the port of, I don't know, Copenhagen, for example, here in Denmark, we would not be allowed to sink it, because we are not at war with Denmark or Norway. If you come across a convoy, for example, so and there's British ships in there, and you think, great, I can take some shots here, but you also see a Norwegian ship, for example, within that convoy, and we are not at war with Norway, you can still sink that Norwegian ship, because it is travelling as part of a convoy. You don't need to board it. You can treat it like every other ship in that convoy, and it's fair game. So those are basically the prize rules. What we'll do here is we'll grab ourselves an echo sounder, as we are now at war, and we're just going to see what we can find. Excellent. So what we'll do is we'll dive to 10 meters. We'll get him on depth keeping, and we'll just see what we can find. We may not find anything. Obviously, as I said at the very start of the video, we may not find any kind of shipping to have a go at, but if we do, we'll certainly have a go at it. Okay, so what I'll do is I will
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Auf
Meter.
E-Motoren wechseln.
skip through this section. Okay, yeah, so we didn't find anything there, which is absolutely fine. So what we'll do is we'll carry on as we were. What I'll do is I'll probably go up to about here, and I'll do another check. And we should be a bit deeper up here. I mean, it says there depth 50 to 100 meters, whereas down here it's more like 20 to 50 meters. So yeah, we'll head up here. Oh, we've had a message.
Frankreich befindet sich im Krieg, nur defensive Aktion. Und Räder bestätigt, dass alle britischen Schiffe Ziele sind.
Okay. France has been at war with us since 1700 hours today. Defensive actions against French warships and freighters are permitted. Submarines are not allowed to board or attack French-flagged vessels. Self-defense is allowed. So if a French vessel fires upon us, we are free to defend ourselves. But if we just see a French vessel, we cannot attack it. That is illegal. So let's keep going all the way up here. Actually, I'll skip ahead. Okay, so nighttime now. What we can do is we can put some red lights on. So red lights help you see better in the dark. There is a setting on this game that you can have darker nights. I haven't got that on. The reason why I haven't got that on is because it does make it very difficult to see, and it will be almost impossible for you guys watching to see this as well. So obviously I want you guys to be able to watch what I'm doing. So
Alle
we're
Maschinen
going to stop. We're going to get ourselves an echo.
Aktuelle Tiefenmessung.
Tiefe unter Kiel.
53 meters. So we're going to dive to 35.
Horchraumbesetzung.
So let's get that done.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Aha.
Schraubengeräusch.
Now,
Pilot,
propellers detected.
315
20 to 30 meters.
25 Meter.
So what we're going to do
Kurs auf
is
diese
we're going to
Koordinaten
try
setzen.
and intercept that
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
as best we can.
Kurs setzen.
Bestätige.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
35 Meter.
Tanks anblasen.
Actually, what I'm going to do is come up to periscope depth, because what I want is for this guy to remain on the hydrophone.
25 Meter.
So he's obviously going to walk back now to... Oh, he's gone back to the radio, but let's put him on the hydrophone, and I want you at periscope depth.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
For some reason it rose to the surface. That wasn't ideal. Let's just see if it actually... There we go. Right, propellers detected.
Schraubengeräusch. Peilung. Bestätige. 0 Grad.
Okay, so let's see if we can get an idea of where this thing's going. Okay, so it's going pretty much this way. Yeah. So let's speed up, and we'll see what we can do about getting this intercepted. We don't know what this is yet. This could be a another submarine, or it could be a warship, or it could be some kind of tanker. You know, you just don't know at this stage. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of try and keep going as best we can. And what I want to do is get the attack periscope up. I'm going to reduce 1 for him and add 1 for him, which increases our range. There we go. Ship spotted. Okay. So let's get him. Yeah, keep him on the electric engines. I want to try and get as close as I can.
Bestätige. Kurs setzen. Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Okay. I still can't... Right, there we go. I've seen it. So this looks like a British ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry on down here, and we're going to try and get ahead of it. If we can get ahead of it, then we'll cross it at a 90-degree angle, and then we'll look to take a shot. And that's what we're going to do. So bear with me, guys, just while I try and get this lined up. Okay, so we're slowly getting into position. I want you to maintain some torpedoes for me, please. I do not want to be shooting duds. Okay, and we're going to stop there. So what I'm going to do is try and locate the boat, which is at 63 degrees. Wow, it is really foggy. Do we have any idea how far this boat actually is away from us? Okay, so it's actually very close. Do you know what? I can't see it at all. It's too foggy. Right, okay. 63 degrees. Aha. Okay, so I still can't actually see it. So what I might do is I might allow my guys to figure out exactly what to do in terms of its distance, speed, etc., etc. Because, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I just can't see it. There's nothing. It's too foggy. So, I think I'm going to have to
Betrachten Sie es als
I think
erledigt,
what I
Herr
might
Kaloy.
do actually is I might put myself some distance between myself and this boat. We are a bit too close, to be honest. So let's get that done.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, and
Kurs setzen.
turn in.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloy.
Kurs setzen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
Speed up a bit.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
Kurs auf diese
There we
Koordinaten
go.
setzen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Right. So we're still
Ermitteln Sie eine Schusslösung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloy.
trying to get ourselves into a position. I wonder if it's any better in terms of our... It's not, as far as I can see. I mean, technically it should just be crossing kind of straight in front of us, right? That's... But yeah, it's far too foggy.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Just cannot see anything. So what I might do is
Rohr 1 bewässern.
just take a shot and see what we can do. Flooding the tubes.
Rohr 1 bewässert.
Los.
Los.
30 Sekunden.
Right. What we're going to do is try and get ahead of it.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. 20 Sekunden.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
Do you know what? That actually looks really good.
10 Sekunden bis Einschlag. Treffer. An Deck.
Oh yeah, we got it.
Schwere Schäden.
Oh wow, it was really close. Jesus. Okay, right, let's
Tanks anblasen.
come up.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
Oh wow, yeah, it was incredibly close.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Just gonna... Right. Everyone take a breath.
Kurs setzen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Yeah, so you can see how foggy it is, and we just would not have seen that ship at all. So there was absolutely no way that I was going to be able to,
Alles klar. Mich darum kümmern.
you know, target it manually and work out its speed, its distance, its, you know, anything, all of that stuff that you need to work out, you know, where to fire your torpedo.
Kurs auf diese
I would not have
Koordinaten
been able to do that manually, so I had to let the AI do that for me. Obviously, that's not ideal, and in future we will look to do everything manually, because it is good fun trying to work it all out. There is a bit of maths involved, so, you know, if maths isn't your, you know, strongest suit, then maybe a good
Alle
idea
Maschinen
to not try it too much, because it is very easy to miss. Right, okay, it looks as though the health of this is dropping rapidly, so I don't think it'll be too long before this thing sinks. Empire Chroma. It's a little seaside town on the east coast. Oh, it's going down. Yeah, I mean it is going to sink. So yeah, definitely don't worry about that.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Verstanden, Herr
I think what we'll do is we'll remove the alarm.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe
And
gebrauchen.
we'll take one off there
Ich könnte etwas
and
Hilfe
put him on.
gebrauchen.
Okay, who is the most knackered? You are, so let's send you to bed.
Ein paar Stunden Pause.
There we go.
Ich benötige
Put you on there.
etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Is that thing still... It is still moving, isn't it?
Diese Koordinaten setzen.
It might be the case we need to get really close to it and just kind of hit it with the gun. Let's turn off our compressor. Don't need that on. Actually, what I might do is I might use the electric compressor instead, just to save a bit of fuel. We still have a fair kind of whack to go with our... where is this boat? There it is.
Kurs setzen.
So what I might do actually is I might... Yeah. Stop the boat here.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Zur Wache.
Leave the position. Put on our searchlight. There we go, like that. And then I'm going to climb down. I'm going to go to... Excuse me. I'm going to go to the gun. And I'm going to finish it off with the gun, I think.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
That'll be the easiest option.
Sie gehen unter.
Gut gemacht. Ja!
There we go. Done.
Melden Sie sich zur Wache. Scheinwerfer
And
ausschalten.
turn the searchlight off, please. So we send a message off to the BDU to say we've sunk the boat. So that was great. I didn't expect to replacement parts, med kit, and a
Funktelegramm
med kit.
gesendet.
Wreckage, 9 survivors. Who have we got here? No, we haven't got anyone there that's of interest. 3 survivors. Aha. So we've got a captain and an engineer. We'll take them on board. That wasn't really something the U-boats did in World War II. They didn't really take prisoners of war, I guess, on board because there simply wasn't space on U-boats for, you know, for extra people. So yeah, so they didn't do that generally. But in the game, it's okay to do it. The only reason for that really. Is because it gives you extra reputation when you get back to port. So that is something to consider. So what we'll do is we'll just grab some of the wreckage or some of the kind of replacement parts, med kits. To be honest, I'd prefer the med kits. So hopefully someone is going to come and grab that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll use this guy to... Yeah, there we go. I'll use this guy to go and... looks... Oh, now someone's going to get it. Of course they are. That's fine. Looks like the box has gone. What I want to do is grab the other med kit as well. Let's just skip through that time. And we want to pop those on board as well. Just wait for someone to come and grab it. And then what we can do, guys, is we can carry on with our patrol and then return to port. So actually it was pretty successful. I think we've done quite well there. Oh, okay. I don't know why nobody is... Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's do that again. We'll leave the position and then we'll see. Yeah, okay, it's because we didn't have a spare sailor to actually go and get the stuff. Now we do. He's now going off to get the med kits. There we go. Sorted. Right. So he's carrying the med kit to the storage room. He'll obviously need to come back up. Go back in. Obviously you do have the flag here. You can hide the flag, which is pretty cool. So you know, if you want to pop up in the middle of a convoy, you can hide the flag, which is awesome. Very useful as well if you're kind of trying to approach an enemy port and you need to be on the surface because it's just too shallow for you to dive. So yeah, you can hide the flag. to kind of, so you don't kind of give away who it is you actually are. All right, so let's go back to the targeting site. I think we're good in that respect. We'll go back to our patrol route, and we'll go across, down, across, and we'll just, yeah, do this for a bit. This is going to be purely just to complete the objective, and then once the objective's completed, we'll head back to port. I will skip all of this, and once we get back to port, I will bring you guys back. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, so I've decided to bring everyone back because we have had a message from FDU. Captain, we've decided to implement a change in the assigned squares for your U-boat. Please head to squares AN16 to AN52 and perform the patrol inside them from now on. So our current objective has actually been removed, and we now need to patrol this area instead. So what we'll do is we'll come to here, and we will do this instead. Alright, so what I'll do, guys, again, I'll skip through, and once we're back in port, I will bring you back, unless we get another important message. So yeah, maybe see you very soon. Alright, and we are back. So we've won some awards, or worked our way towards some of the awards. So Iron Cross 2nd class, contribution in the sinking of the Empire Chroma. And then our captain is very close to the Iron Cross 2nd class, so determined the torpedo course at the Empire Chroma, sinking of the Empire Chroma, completed the assignment, which was obviously the objective that we had to patrol that particular sector. So we've already started our tonnage war objective, which is a campaign objective. This is obviously going to be a long-lasting thing. So the British Empire's largest weakness is its interconnectivity and dependence on naval trade. Our U-boat forces are especially capable of striking at this weak spot by blocking major trade routes. Sink merchant ships within following squares to complete this objective: AN, AM, AE, AF, BE and BF. Now, first patrol. Your first patrol has been completed during a pivotal time in history. Germany is now at war with the Western European powers, and the success of our war effort relies on the brave actions of U-boat captains like yourself. Make a difference in this crucial time, Skipper. And there's just the confirmation that we sunk the Empire Chroma. Our sources inform us that the ship was headed from Bergen, Norway, to London with utilities in the cargo holds. The ship's gross tonnage was 2,771 tons. It was registered in Great Britain. So there we go. And that's it. That was our first patrol, guys. So I want to thank you ever so much for joining me for that. That was a real joy to kind of do something a bit different on the channel. We've been playing a lot of sort of supermarket and fast food simulator and things like that. So yeah, it was nice to do something just that little bit different. And if you'd like to give me a like and subscribe, and you've enjoyed what you see, then please do so. Ring that notification and bell as well, just so that you never miss an episode of what's coming up in the future. Until the next time, guys, have a very good evening. Bye bye.